Continuing here, but the implications, the ramifications, the consequences that these people wreak upon the people of the earth, okay, humanity at large, are horrendous, okay, and this for profit and control, for the temporary things of this world. This same caliber of mentality, thousands of years this crap's been going on. They create national debt. They enslave the people by putting them in debt. Okay, and then they debase the currency through market manipulation, all these things that they do. They create the wealth and income disparity. They maintain a critical mass of people that are well-heeled, that are enjoying the fruits of this trajectory, actually trajectory into hell for the entire civilization. Okay, the vast majority of crime is induced by the problems that these people, that they impose upon us through their policies. They're evil, mean people. And we've all got to get it. We've all got to understand that our differences are minuscule. They were invented. And we need to at least respect each other for our beliefs. Okay, you can say what you want. Okay, you're free to taunt and tease and belittle and marginalize people for their beliefs and say, communists. Remember, communists and socialists are human beings. So if you're going to denounce and condemn, okay, human beings for what they believe, that says a lot about where you're coming from. That's not what a Christian does, okay? A Christian says these are human beings, and even if these people are deceived, okay, understand, if you're going to judge them as deceivers, okay, you got a big problem there too, because we don't know who is deceived and who is a deceiver. We don't have the wherewithal. We don't have that kind of wisdom. Only God knows who that is. So we have to give a benefit of the doubt. This is holding the olive branch, the whole olive leaf out to others to say, look, I believe you're on the wrong side, but you're going to win more flies with honey than with vinegar, right? So the whole idea is to be attractive, magnetic, say you're serious, because I know that you're wrong by being a communist, by believing socialistic principles. It's never worked. It never will work. Here's the evidence. Show them. But be polite, be kind, be respectful, be diplomatic in so doing. Okay, you're going to win a lot of them over. Is that your intentions, or do you just want to be part of the problem, by part of the divide, the great? Nope, my way or the highway, buddy. You believe like capitalist, or that's it, man. You see, that's ugly. That's not godly. That's evil. It's unholy. It's unrighteous. And you've got to stop doing it. Whoever's doing it's got to stop doing it. But the way to do it is toward, for one thing, just taking people at their word. And they really believe it. So you have a discussion. You say, well, this policy of taking from the haves and give to the have-nots doesn't work. You know, that's what I would say, and here's the proof. They can get an attorney that can find them loopholes to evade, avoid taxes, whatever, potatoes, okay? Do you understand how this works? Rich Dad said it on Alex Jones's show. He said, this is what I do. I just run off the debt. So this guy doesn't have any money. Okay, if the debt was ever paid, he'd be out of business. So he's definitely taking advantage of the woes. Okay, he is a huge part of the problem, and people like him, his ilk. But they say, you know what? It's a sinking ship. It's just like, hey, if the government's giving out these, doing this, I'm sure not going to be left in the back of the line. I'm going to step up to the front, and that's what he tries to tell people to do, right, in his books. This is the thing. Misery loves company, because they know deep down in their heart and soul that it's not good for the country, that a lot of property managers, real estate people, investors take advantage of that Section 8 housing money, that $50 billion a year. That's whose pockets it's going in, and it's going as debt. We're in debt as a nation. They're debasing our currency. This is a very serious problem. So this division is very serious, and we've got to take it. We've got to unite. I don't care, communist, socialist, capitalist, crony capitalist. Let's come together. Let bygones be bygones. Let's stop being sinners about this issue. This is very serious. If we're really gonna be God's hands and feet, eyes and ears on the ground, We're created just a little lower than the angels, remember. So we've got big shoes to fill. We got to go out there, put our big boy and girl pants on, and we've got to confront these people. If we don't, we're never going to fix it. We've got to dispel the ignorance, say, no, you're not going to be allowed that. We're not going to tolerate you being ignorant anymore. We've got to educate everybody and say, no, it's simple. You can get this. 2 + 2 = 4. We've got to bring people out of Babylon, out of confusion, okay, out of stupidity, this mass mesmerization, this mass stupidity that's been inflicted upon us deliberately. Remember, they're diabolical. They know what they're doing. So they make your head hurt. Oh, it's too hard. I don't want to think about economics and all this. No, I understand inflation. Yeah, they just keep raising the price. That's the way it goes. The price of this goes up and the price of that follows. And then this goes up, and that's just normal. That's progress. Yeah, I guess they call it capitalism. And I suck it up, go with the flow, and go along to get along. And ignorance is bliss. And just shut up. I don't want to know. You trying to talk over my head. You think you're all intellectual. You're virtue signaling. I mean, people have 1,001 excuses for not becoming empowered and educated on this subject and bearing their share of the weight of the cross. Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. But remember, it's a lot less painful if we deal with it now than just keep kicking the can down the road and just letting the problems fester and get worse. Because you know it's going to come to a head eventually, like a boil. So, okay, we can sit around and just say, oh, yeah, the boil, we know it'll pop someday, but just go with it for now. I'm part of the boil and all this. I'm not going to be part of that boil. I'm not the guy that's going to explode and be a pustulous glob stinking up the room. I'm not going to have to answer to my, to the next generation. Is not going to look at me and blame me for the problems in society. No, they're going to look. Here's a guy that really stood up and he really did his best. He did something at least. He might have been ineffective. Nobody listened to him. I don't know what the case is. I don't review my videos. Look, if a couple of people listen and it spreads, I mean, that's all I really want to do. I like to sit in the shadows and just vicariously let others work through me, spread the good news. I mean, all the stuff I get, if it's worth a damn, it came from the Bible anyhow. All the good teachings that I have learned, okay, how to be a good, decent, upright human being, why I should value that, being moral, ethical, and all that's valuing my heart, my soul, my spirit, my mind, my conscience, my honor, my integrity, my nobility of character, okay, the soul, okay. Why I do that is because I learned that from God. God is a good God, a loving God, and I want to be a loving human being. I want to be effective. I want to reach people, and I can't stop from trying at least. I've got a compulsion. I feel commissioned to do this thing, to love on my fellow human being and to say, look, here's the path to happiness. How do I know? Because it's right there in black and white and red. It's in broad daylight. God is not secretive about his will for us, what he wants to achieve on earth. And it is idealistic. It is heaven on earth. It is paradise for the people. And you don't stop until it's done. Be ye perfect, like Jesus said, as your Father in heaven is perfect. So all these people saying, oh, well, we're not offering utopia with Trump. Well, look, it's not Trump offering it. It is God working through Trump that's going to achieve and accomplish anything, attain anything. It's going to be from the power that Trump got from God. And all those people working with Trump for the good, the whole good, nothing but the good of all the people. Okay, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about demanding real progress and say, no, we're going to stop putting up with high crime rates. We want a kinder, gentler society. We're going to end extreme, desperate poverty in this country. We're going to set a bright, shining light example for the rest of the nations, so that they can stay home and fix their own problems instead of having to worry to come here. We are the best house in a bad neighborhood, and we want to keep it that way. We want to start going the other direction. We've had a coup attempt, let's say. They've been attempting it for decades upon decades. Like I said, it started at least in 1963 that I know of. So this thing's been going along. We've sunk really far. We've fallen very far. If you look at it like the progress we could have had, what this country would look like if a guy like Martin Luther King Jr. had gotten his way, or JFK, or so many others. They didn't get their way, or else we'd have universal prosperity in America. And it would have spread across the world like leaven in the dough. They would have said, oh, this is the recipe. That's the formula. That's how I do. Okay, that's how we'll do it. So abundance of everything, not just of essential human needs, food, housing, water, and energy needs. Okay, but all the luxury items, all the gadgets, knickknacks, et cetera, okay. All that stuff would be in great abundance. we'd be free. That's contrary to what our cruel overlords want. This illegitimate gaggle of merciless thugs, the money masters of misery, the grand puppeteers, call them what you want. But they're usurpers. They're illegitimate usurpers of God's will on earth for humanity. And we're going to put them in their place with God's help. That's the only way it works. I mean, who am I? What can I affect? But here I am. I'm speaking, but I pray to God that I'm speaking the words that he would have me speak, no more, no less, in trying to be a good friend, a good brother to humanity. That's given me treasure in heaven. So it's selfish too. Yeah, I want to be happy. And I can't be happy. I don't care how much knowledge and information I have if I keep it to myself. Okay, and I've got to give it to the world in a loving, kind manner. Catch more flies with honey than vinegar, like that passage from Corinthians that so many people will recite about how without love you're nothing. You become a banging gong or a clanging cymbal. Okay, it doesn't matter what lofty things you can talk about. Okay, whatever great information, wisdom you can share, if you don't have love in your heart, and love is not a conditional thing. It's not an exclusive thing. It's for everybody. And this whole idea of loving our enemies, if you don't like that idea, then you don't want to be a Christian. You don't want to follow the teachings of Jesus. You're called on to love your enemy. Yeah. That's a big pill to swallow, but that's the pill anyone that's going to profess to be a believer in Jesus, a disciple of Christ, a Christian. That's what the pill they have to take. Okay, that's it. That's carrying your cross, all of us, and loving our enemy. This is it. God really wants, if he's serious, this is a serious business. So don't get caught up in the excruciating minutiae of life. Oh, I failed here, I failed there. I'm weak, I'm feeble, so I lack confidence. And hey, no. You look at the big picture. Where are you going from here? What you're going to be found worthy and deserving of attaining? What kind of realm? What kind of reality? What's your paradigm going to be like, and where you go from here? And so we have a little window of opportunity, being alive, existing, to create that by using our God-given imagination. Well, what kind of a place do you want to go to? Down to the smallest detail. What do you do? What things would you eliminate? Death, disease, natural disasters. You don't want it ever to be too hot, too cold. And then you find out, well, that's exactly what God wants. Did you like to see an end to lions, pulling down and gouging out the guts of a gazelle and scarfing them down? Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, it's kind of gory. I'm not sure why God likes it. And then you find out, well, maybe God would like that too, as it's written in Scripture, that there'll come a time when the lions lay down and eat straw with the lambs. Hell, if the straw satisfies, the end of story. Look, when you've got this renewed, imperishable, immortal body that God promises to us, and you're totally satisfied from eating the fruit of these trees he talks about, then hey, who gives a crap if you don't need anything else? So it's just, that's the way. We just got to be ready to accept that reality, whatever God has out for it, that this atomic structure is so far superior to this one that there's no more disease, no more death. Nothing can threaten us anymore. That's a place I want to go. So yeah, that's perfect. That's ideal. That's heaven. That's paradise. That's utopia, whatever you want to call it. Valhalla, the place for the warriors to go, right? The heaven for the warriors, right? Valhalla. I thought it was just another paradise until I looked up the word. But so anyhow, but it's this very specific type of paradise, right? So warriors for the courageous, the brave. Yeah, and that's anybody that's out there fighting the good fight. I mean, they're soldiers in their own way. They don't have to pick up arms. I'm not talking about kinetic warriors necessarily, because we all know, as they say, the pen is mightier than the sword. That's a word of mouth. So anybody out there speaking truth to power is a brave warrior. It's courageous. So I admire all those people in these high positions and with the big platforms, guys like Alex Jones, all these guys, your Matt Drudges out there, all of them. All these guys that are willing to stick their necks out, the Mike Cernoviches of the world, all the Jack Posobics of the world, the David Knights of the world, all of these reporters, Alex Jones, the women reporters, all of them are sticking their necks out. I mean, and we don't always feel like sticking our necks out. We don't like to intentionally endanger our lives, but it's a cross to bear, that everybody's got their cross to bear, to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to power, and say, no, you're exposed. Okay, this is that time in history with it's the internet age, the computer age, and all the information's out there. It's at everybody's fingertips. Everybody's without excuse. It's even written in scripture that we are without excuse. If you want to be ignorant, that's your choice. So you're going to pay the price of an ignorant person because you don't get to decide where you go from here. You've chosen ignorance. Oh well, it's just a roll of the dice, anybody's guess. I don't have any say so. I'm out of control. But you're living your life like it's your life when you didn't create yourself. What did your parents do but what came by instinct? Always remember, you're owned. I'm owned. We're owned. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing by a very good, loving set of parents, the divine parents, the Almighty Creator God, the master potter, okay, that when he recycles stuff, that's his business. If he destroys, that's his business because he created it in the first place. He's got that prerogative, that exclusive privilege to do that.